So I got this really cute coffee cup. It looks like a vintage Christmas stamp. I love it. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Krista. Come along with me today as we get ready for Christmas. We're going to start by making some cutouts, so let's get into it. So I'm going to show you how I make my favorite sugar cookie cutout recipe. I start with 6 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I didn't use salt because the recipe calls for unsalted butter and I use salted butter, so I didn't want to add salt and make the cookies taste too salty. Now I'm just taking 2 sticks of butter and 2 cups of sugar, and I'm going to mix it together until it's light and fluffy. And you'll notice that the color changes and it's really fluffy. And then you take 4 eggs and add it one at a time. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of sour cream and some vanilla. I don't really measure vanilla. The recipe I think calls for like a teaspoon, but I just kind of measure with my heart. Now I'm going to add the dry mixture into the wet mixture, and I do this a little bit at a time, and you want to make sure that your mixer's on low so the flour is not flying out of the bowl going everywhere. Be careful not to overmix your cookie dough. You want it to be mixed until just combined. And now I'm taking some plastic wrap and I'm taking the dough and putting it on the plastic wrap and shaping discs. It ended up making 2 discs. The recipe calls for chilling it for like 30 minutes, but I did an hour because you want to make sure that it's like firm enough for when you roll it out and stuff that it's not going to be super sticky. Once the dough has been chilling for an hour, we're going to go ahead and take it out. And you're going to take a surface, whether it's your counter or a cutting board or anything like that, and you're going to sprinkle some flour and kind of rub it around. This helps it to keep from sticking. And then you put the dough onto the board and you're going to take more flour on top and then take a rolling pin, roll it out. And I'm just using a biscuit cutter to cut my cookies, but you can do any shapes that you would like. And I baked the cookies at 350 for 10 to 11 minutes. I went ahead and rolled out all the cookies and I just set them on a plate, and then that way I could just add them as each cookie sheet was done. I could just keep baking them so it was more efficient. One thing I love about this recipe is the sour cream makes it so light and fluffy, and they just taste so delicious. Now I'm going to mix up the frosting. The recipe originally calls for cream cheese, but I just ended up using butter, powdered sugar, a little bit of half and half, and some vanilla. So the measurements that I used was a stick of butter, 3.5 cups of powdered sugar, probably about a 1/4 cup of half and half. It depends on how thick you want your frosting. And then vanilla, I just added like a splash of vanilla. And then I just frosted my cookies. You can obviously like add colors or sprinkles or different things, but I decided just to do them plain like white frosting. It was just by preference. I try not to do too many colors in like my diet and stuff, so this part's really customizable. This recipe ended up making like 60 cookies. I got a few things from Target, so I wanted to show you what I got. So I'm going to start with these candy canes. I was looking for candy canes that didn't have like any colors or anything in them. So I found these. They're a little on the pricey side, but they're really good. I'm actually going to use them later in the video, so keep watching so you don't miss that. The next item I got is these Unreal. It's like a healthy version of like an M&M. And I thought these would be good. You could add them to cookies, you could eat them as a snack, different things like that. When I placed the Target order, they had Magnolia stuff 30% off. So I got this really cute coffee cup. It looks like a vintage Christmas stamp. I love it. The next cup I got, it says meant to be. And if you've watched Everybody Loves Raymond, there's some episodes where Robert, his brother, was talking about meant to be. So I thought this cup would be a perfect kind of like, kind of relation to that. I absolutely love that show. It's one of my favorite. We just recently finished like rewatching it. And the last item, this was on sale for $3.50. It's regular $5. And I thought it'd be a good addition to our Christmas decor, which I'm going to show you later in the video. And that's all I got from Target. So we're going to go ahead and try these. I've never tried them before, but I seen them at Target, so I thought it'd be good to give a try. They smell really good. Those are really good. They taste just like M&Ms. I wanted to make a recipe using those organic, like no color added candy canes, so I thought this candy cane dip would be perfect. And I just used 1 cup of half and half, a box of vanilla pudding, and then you mix that together until it thickens. And then I add a teaspoon of peppermint extract and a container of Cool Whip, and I mix that together. And you want to fold it in. You don't want to like mix it with the mixer. Now I'm going to take a candy cane. I originally started with 1, and then I decided that I needed to add some more later, so I ended up doing 3. But obviously this depends on how minty you want it and how much you want it to show up. Crushing these candy canes makes me kind of laugh because it makes me think of Courage the Cowardly Dog, where Eustace says, "Get me mallet." And then I just added the crushed candy canes to the bowl and mixed them in. This dip wasn't like overpoweringly minty, but I kind of like more of the subtle flavor, so obviously adjust based on your taste. I needed something to try the dip out with, and I got these Walker shortbread fingers. Oh, they are so good. And they're really simple ingredients. They're actually from Scotland, which is kind of cool, but I went ahead and tried some of that and it was delicious. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the decorating portion of the video. So I started by taking some greenery and putting it on the fireplace. And I'm taking some strands of lights and just kind of working it within the greenery. And then I just placed this Mary sign in the center of the fireplace right in front of the mirror. And I decided that it wasn't like up high enough, so I took this wood round and set the Mary sign on top of the wood round. And then I took these deer that I think I got from Target, set them on one side, and these snowmen on the other side. And I had to add some batteries to them because they light up and they look really pretty. Now I'm going to decorate these window frames. These are actually a DIY that we did a couple years ago. I have these little hooks that we got from Dollar Tree, and I just hung a wreath right in the center. And then I took this angel and this little tree that I got from Hobby Lobby and some greenery and set it on top of the window. wanted the tree to light up, so I just took a strand of fairy lights and worked it around the tree and then placed it back on the shelf. And then I just did the same thing to the other window. I wanted to add something else to the shelf, so I just took these shelf setters that I got at Costco a few years ago. It's a reindeer and a snowman, and I think they're so cute. We have a couple of different shelves in our living room. One of them is above our recliners, so I'm just taking some greenery and some of these little potted plants, and I place the potted plants one on each side, and then I work some fairy lights through the greenery. And then I just took this picture that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's of a Highland cow. It's so pretty. And then I wanted it to like set up more so you could like see it better. So I just took some empty boxes of lights and set them underneath, and it looked perfect. Now I'm working on the next shelf, so I'm just taking these trees that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I wanted it to kind of look like a winter forest. So you can tell I'm trying to like adjust them and see where I wanted to set them. And then I took this gnome that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's really cute. It looks all snow covered. And then I took a deer that I got at Target, and I just love how it turned out. Now I'm going to decorate our buffet table. I'm taking these glass trees that I got from Target Dollar Spot last year. Now I'm going to take these 3 bears carrying a Christmas tree. I got them from Hobby Lobby. And then I took 2 metal trees that I got from Dollar Tree Plus section and put them on either side of the bears. And now I'm taking these bells and hanging them on either side of the shelves. I think I got them from Hobby Lobby a couple years ago. And then for the bottom part of the fireplace, I just added a couple trees on either side, and then the inside part I added some bottle brush trees and this really cute metal deer. Now I'm working on decorating the blanket ladder, so I'm just taking some of these floral picks and I'm hanging them onto the blanket ladder and pressing them down so they lay flat. And I have ones that have just plain like with pine cones, and then I have other ones that are frosted that have berries on them, and then I'm just kind of adjusting them. And then I put the sign using a hook. It says Old St. Nick. It's actually a DIY. And then I shaped the greenery around the sign. Now I'm working on these shelves. They're by our table. So I'm taking this Christmas village. We actually painted them white a couple years ago. And I'm just kind of arranging them and trying to see what works. As you'll see, I take some trees away, add some trees. And then eventually we decided on some of these bottle brush trees. And I'm putting them like on either side of the houses of the village. And then I take this DIY that my mom did at Lisa's Creative Home, and I set it on top of our calendar blocks. And then I'm just taking a lantern on the bottom shelf here and taking more DIYs that she created and setting them on either side. And then I just added some greenery and fairy lights to each of the shelves. And I'm just kind of working the greenery and kind of putting it behind the village, so that way it sits flat. And here's how the shelves turned out. I absolutely love them. I think it's really pretty. And also you'll see on the table I have a candy bowl. I got it at Kohl's a couple years ago. It's kind of like a tier tray. And I had some Christmas candy in there. And then I also had a bouquet set up with some floral picks in it. Now we're going to decorate the tree. I already added 3 boxes of lights. I think it was 100 count. And then I'm taking ornaments, and we used rubber bands. And this kind of helps the ornaments stay on the tree. And they're not going to like fall off or anything. It especially helps since we have cats and they like to knock them off. Now we're just taking some bows that we made out of red ribbon that we got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just kind of placing them evenly all over the tree and making sure that their tails are pulled forward and their loops are fluffed out so they look nice. And then I just added one of the bows to the waist of the tree topper, and I went ahead and plugged it in and clipped it onto the top of the tree. And then we decided to add some of the bows to the wreaths on the windows. So I just put them on the bottom center, and I did it for either side. And I also added one to the wreath that was hanging on the mirror in the fireplace and made sure that the tails were a little longer so it hung almost to the bottom of the wreath. And now I'm going to take you on a tour of like how all our Christmas decorations turned out, and I'm just going to play some music and let you enjoy. I wanted to show you this really simple chicken noodle soup recipe that has a secret ingredient. So we started by taking some chicken breast, we had like 5 or 6, and I just seasoned them with some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And I added some diced onion, 3 stalks of celery that was diced, a teaspoon of thyme, and then I just sprinkled some parsley. And here's the secret ingredient. We used 2 bags of shredded cabbage or like coleslaw mix and added it to the crock pot. And then I used 2 cartons of chicken broth. And I just cooked it on high for 6 hours. One reason I added the cabbage, it had a date that needed use, so I decided to add it to the soup, and it was like amazing. And then I just added half a bag of these wide egg noodles that I got from Aldi's, and I cooked them on high for 30 minutes. I made these sliders to go with the soup, so it's just the little like Hawaiian slider buns with a piece of ham, turkey, and a piece of Colby Jack cheese. And I just baked them in the oven like 375, like 15-20 minutes. This is one of my favorite soups. We ended up having leftovers. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me for today's video. I was curious, what's your favorite Christmas tradition? Let me know in the comments down below. With that being said, I'll see you in the next video.